Hey, welcome back once again, Knicks fans. Just wanted to talk about a couple of players on the New York Knicks. Wanted to talk about Emmanuel quickly and Obi Toppin, and also, just recap a little bit of the Washington game from April 8th, 2022. It's like not much to say there. Washington, they didn't have a lot of their players, and we were also missing some players. However, the players who really wanted to see play, they are in the court except for Cam Reddish. That's the other player we do want to see play that's not there. But however, we had basically a lot of the young guys that we wanted to see play. A lot of the guys we're very optimistic about. That makes us really happy about this team's future. And those two guys are Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin. They're basically the two we want to look at today. R.J. Barrett, he got injured right before the half in this game and left with about 14 points. They say he tweaked his knee or something like that. So hopefully he's going to be fine. And he's not going to be playing the last game of the season, which is good. He probably really shouldn't have been playing the last few games, but it was good to see him out there playing, and it's good to see them run the offense through RJ. However, they've been running the offense through RJ for a few weeks now, and so it would have been okay to actually shut him down a couple of games ago. But I think the good thing about seeing RJ play though was you know he does need a little work. He still needs work, especially finishing at the rim, and also he just needs to be a lot more efficient. Not just mostly finishing at the rim, but also we know he struggles with the mid range, and the 3 pointer is off and on sometimes. So it's good for him to get the practice either way. So I mean, you can take it either way. You can say, well, we should have shut him down a few games ago, and also you could say, he kind of needs a little work, and also it's good to see him playing with Obi Toppin and also Emmanuel Quickly, just to kind of get them going, to kind of improve the chemistry with those three players. So I kind of understand both sides of the argument. So, but hopefully he's going to be fine. Hopefully it doesn't impact his ability to work out over the summer and work on finishing at the rim or working on his mid range and also 3 point shooting. Like I said, I just wanted to focus on Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin today. Both of them had really good games. Both of them were actually the primary reasons we won these games. Um, in terms of overall team reason why we won this game, essentially it came down to turnovers. We had 10 turnovers, and the Washington Wizards I think had about 22 turnovers. And also we did out rebound them, but we out rebounded them by about five. I'm not sure if we how much we did have more offensive rebounds than they did, and so that also helped a bit. And I think we have more offensive rebounds. So someone can check me on it if I'm wrong. You guys can basically put a comment below because I don't have the Wizards statistics up at the moment. But essentially, it was the turnover battle. They turned over the ball about 22 times, and we turned over the ball only 10 times. And then also we won the rebounding battle. Because if you see, I do remember seeing, I think they shot about 51% from the field, the Washington Wizards. We shot 47% from the field. And so it's really interesting. The thing with this New York Knicks is like they're turning other teams over, which is good. However, they still need to work on their defense. The team does need to work on their defense. I think a lot of it has to do with Mitchell Robinson being out. And I think the other part of it is actually the lineup that we have, right? It's so you have Alec Berg, 7 Fournier, and then Obi Toppin on the floor at the same time. Now, in my opinion, I feel like Obi Toppin is a better defender than the other two. Obviously, they don't play the same position, but overall, I feel like Obi Toppin is a better defender than both the other two. Now, Alec Berg, he's good team. He's a decent team defender. He always makes the correct rotations. He really hustles. But the problem with Alec Burke is basically when he gets isolated, right? When it's basically his man against him. I mean, it's almost like he rarely is able to stop, the opposing player. Today was a different story. He actually played a better defensive game, but then again, we were playing the Washington Wizards, and most of the players, a lot of their best players were out. I think uh, their best 4 or 5 players were out of this game. Didn't wasn't playing this game, or I want to say maybe the best 4 players weren't playing this game, and so you kind of have to take what happened yesterday with a grain of salt. Also, Obi Toppin did have 35 points this game, which was great. So that's a new career high for Obi Toppin. He had 35 points, 14 of 22 from the field. That's about 63.6%. He was 6 of 9 from three. That's like almost 67%. So, he had a really good shooting game today. But the only problem with Obi Toppin is, the rebounding. But the thing with the rebounding that you notice is because he leaks out a lot, right? A lot of this has to do with the defensive rotations. He always hustles to challenge jump shooters and 3-point shooters, and when he does that and the shot goes up, he tends to leak out right away. He starts going to the other side. He doesn't even bother trying to get the rebound, and I think it's something that obviously the team has planned, and that's what the team wants him to do. And so it looks like they're willing to sacrifice some defensive rebounds. Obi Toppin and their team is willing to sacrifice defensive rebounds, uh, his defensive rebounds, for some easy buckets for the team. I get it, it makes sense, but then that means essentially everyone else has to step up. And so that's why you see Alec Berg with 7 rebounds. His rebounds tends to be kind of high sometimes for a guard. Emmanuel quickly 6 rebounds, which is pretty decent. Jericho Sims was 9, wasn't terrible, but it was pretty decent. RJ Barrett only 3, but he only played one half. And Taj Gibson had 6 rebounds, and that's not terrible for 23 minutes either. So the rest of the team was able to pick up the slack. However, we see what's happening with Obi Toppin with the rebounding. It's really about him. It's more about the rotation, where he's at on the floor when the ball goes up, when the shot goes up. If he's in the perimeter or if he's challenging a shot, then he immediately leaks out. So the team can get an easy bucket, which I understand, which is fine. Emmanuel quickly had a hell of a game today as well. He had another double double. He shot 50% from the field, 9 of 18, scored 23 points, and he had 10 assists and then 6 rebounds. So he had a really good game. And so had a really big impact on the team's offense. It's really weird, right? It's hard to complain about Emmanuel quickly and his play, especially yesterday, because of he was very efficient and the offense was efficient on the offensive end in terms of getting shots and making shots. But I really felt like he dominates the ball like a lot. It's like he really dominates the ball quite a bit. And I felt like in that third quarter and fourth quarter, I kind of felt like he was beating the hell out of he was beating the air out of the ball. And so, but look, I mean, the results were there. But the reason why I do get concerned about it because he can do that against the Washington Wizards because the Wizards are just a terrible offensive team. They're not a very good team overall. They're terrible. I'm not saying I didn't mean to say they're a terrible offensive team. They're a terrible defensive team. So you can get away with doing things that may not work against other team. Would he be able to beat the air out of the ball, like let's say against the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets, right? Or some of the playoff teams, some of the better teams, or even like some of the marginal teams that are just out of the playoffs. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's something they may want to work on because it may not always work. Basically, it felt like it was quickly or bust, right? So either quickly, the way he was running the offense, the way they had him running the offense, it was either he had to get the shot, either he took a shot and hopefully made it, or he basically gave the assist and hopefully the person he got the ball to makes it. And then usually quite a lot of the time when he did pass off the ball, wasn't a lot of time left on the clock. Maybe it'll be like 7 seconds left, maybe, or 5 to 7 seconds left. There was a few times where he was able to run a play and kind of get the ball to someone else, maybe halfway through the shot clock. But I remember with around about 10 to 13 seconds left. But a lot of the times it was a little late in the shot clock when he was able to get the ball to someone else. But but that's really interesting to see, and it'll be interesting to see how it works going forward. But it's hard to complain about it too much yesterday because he was a very efficient running the offense, and the offense looked great. But again, take it with a grain of salt. The Wizards, even with like all their good players back, the Wizards are just a really bad. They're a terrible defensive team. And so the thing I wanted to talk about was obviously we're focusing on quickly and Toppin, right, to see what we have with these two players because of the performance by both of them yesterday, the ability to carry the team. We know Obi Toppin is he's very consistent on the offensive end in terms of efficiency. I mean, like this guy, he shoots about over 50% every game. It doesn't matter if he's getting only 8 minutes or if he's getting, but now we see he's getting like over 20 minutes a game. When he gets over 20 minutes a game, he gets a better feeling and he actually shoots at a very high clip. He's very efficient. And so we kind of want to take a look at basically all the recent games they've played. Kind of want to see, like, do we have something with these two players? Because the name of the game for the New York Knicks going forward is efficiency, right? And we need to be more efficient. We need to have our, like, the guys taking most of the shots. They need to be able to shoot 45% or better from the field. The reason why we won games last year was because Julius Randle shot 45% last year from the field. He was averaging about 24 points a game on 45% shooting. This year, Julius Randle shot 41%, right? And that was terrible. And of course, the other part was defense as well. But, there's not a lot of big men that's going to torch Julius. There's been some there's not a lot of power forwards that's going to torch Julius Randle, right? Because there's not a lot of great offensive power forwards in the league. And so he does occasionally use it happens, right? He got basically cooked against by Bagley. And sometimes he gets cooked by players because he just doesn't put in the effort. But it was part of the biggest problem with Julius Randle this year as well. It wasn't just the defense, but the efficiency was just terrible. And then also our next top gun was R.J. Barrett, and he shot 41% from the field as well. Last year, R.J. Barrett, I think, shot either 43, 44% from the field. And this year, he basically took a step back and shot 41%. And so that's definitely not a good look. Although he averaged more points this year, it definitely wasn't good that he shot, so terrible from the field. We did see improvement for R.J. Barrett after the All-Star break. I think there was even a few games before the All-Star break where he improved efficiency and his ability to finish at the rim. But then the last couple of weeks, he's kind of struggling again with efficiency and being able to finish at the rim as well. The only good thing about him attacking the basket all the time is the fact that when he attacks the basket and breaks it down, you got Mitchell Robinson there to clean it up and get the board and get a putback and give us a second, an easy two once the defense breaks down. That's really the only good thing about him going to the basket and shooting as poorly as he's shooting right now. But that's not a good enough recipe to win, right? You can't bank on that, right? And so the name of the game is efficiency, and we need to improve efficiency on this team. Or if you have guys that are efficient, you need to be able to get the ball to them more. Like an Obi Toppin, you got to be able to get the ball to Obi Toppin a little more, involve him in the play, run plays for him. Mitchell Robinson, you got to find a way when he's playing, you got to find a way to get him the ball in the paint more. They need to work with it on him. I remember the first couple of years, Mitchell Robinson actually had pretty good touch around the paint. This year, it kind of felt like that touch is gone, but I kind of feel like he's still getting adjusted playing with like the weight that he's playing with. And you can also tell they have to be working with him on that, like in practice. They don't practice dumping the ball off to him and then him turning around and, basically trying to get a hook or, especially when he has a mismatch. When he has a mismatch, actually, it's much easier. Just get the ball to him. He'll rise over and dunk on whoever it is. But when he has another big man, he's a little bigger than, they need to be able to work on getting him the ball so he can just get an easy deuce, especially when he has the man sealed off. A lot of times this season, I saw that you would see him seal off his man, and all they had to do was dump him the ball, and he would just go right up, and he would be able to just go right up and dunk it, but they were never able to do that because we just had really poor point guard. We had really poor guard play. not just by the point guard, but also by our playmakers, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett. Now, the mark of a really good playmaker, and the reason why Julius Randle is not a great playmaker, a lot of times, if you notice, Julius Randle is able to get you open threes because he can collapse the defense because of the attention that he gets. But because I feel like he doesn't feel the game good enough, and I feel like because he's not able to set up his teammates well enough, he's not able to get the team an easy deuce. What's easier, a layup or a three-point shot? Of course, a layup is easier. And so to become a better playmaker, Julius Randle will have to get his teammates more layups instead of more threes. It's great that he's able to get them some threes, but he needs to be able to get them layups. Look at Joker. Joker's constantly finding his teammates underneath the basket when they're cutting. And so Julius Randle, that's something he needs to work on. RJ Barrett is able to do that. He finds his teammates cutting to the basket or even like underneath the basket. So that's why I make RJ Barrett is a good playmaker. Emmanuel quickly is getting a little better at it, but it's really just finding Obi Toppin on lobs, which is really good, but that's playmaking, right? And that's getting your team an easy deuce. And then also recognizing when Obi Toppin has a mismatch on him and dumping the ball off to him. He's not able to do it all the time, but he's doing it more often now. He's doing it more than half the time when Obi Toppin does have that mismatch. Emmanuel quickly is now able to is recognizing it and is trying to get him the ball. And so, like I said, the name of the game is efficiency. So you want to get the ball to your most efficient shooters on the floor, right? That's Obi Toppin, because his ability to finish at the rim at a high percentage, and Mitchell Robinson, his ability to finish at the rim at a high percentage. That's what this team needs to really work on, right? And so that's pretty much what we have, right? And so, that's what the team needs to work on. And in terms of efficiency, like for Obi Toppin, I mean, we've already established he's extremely efficient, but what I wanted to do was basically go through some of the older games, right? Some of the other games he's played, and we want to look at his mismatches, right? Like, for example, this past game, Obi Toppin was barely a little more efficient than, this is interesting. This does not. Field goal differential. Okay, I'm sorry. This needs to be in percentage. He was 30% more efficient. I needed to change this to percentage. He was 30% more efficient and also won his matchup by 12 points, right? Emmanuel quickly was about 17% less efficient and won the matchup by about 1 point, right? But Emmanuel quickly is out of the two, he's the less efficient one, right? He's a guard. And so you can understand that, right? Because he's working from further away, and he doesn't have the same athletic ability that Obi Toppin has, right? And so if you look here, Emmanuel quickly, the previous game that he played, he was 25% less efficient, and also lost his matchup by 5 points. But Obi Toppin was 7% more efficient. Lost basically was outscored by 1 point. This was the Brooklyn game. But that was because it was a tough matchup. He was going basically against Kevin Durant quite a bit. But because, so you might say it was pretty much even because 7% more efficient, that might be able to put him over the top or kind of make him equal. I think it probably might make him make the matchup even here. So he didn't necessarily straight up win the matchup. But like yesterday's game, he definitely won the matchup, right? And so then we go to the Orlando game. The Orlando game, Manny quickly didn't win the matchup. Obi Toppin was barely won the matchup. He's outscored the opponent by 2 points and was about 2% less efficient. I think he shot about 43, almost 44%. And so that's the reason why he didn't have a great shooting game against the Magics. But he barely won his matchup, but he did win the matchup, right? And so that's the whole point. That's the thing. Obi Toppin, he regularly wins the matchup, and that's the thing with him. And then with this here, in this game, it wasn't, I'm sorry, this is not the number of points he outscored the opponent by. This is actually field goals because I got these statistics from NBA.com, and so it didn't show me the number of points that the opponent scored against each of these players. So all I had to go on by field goals. For example, Emmanuel quickly, the opponent scored 6 field goals on him, and and so that was basically 5 field goals more than Emmanuel Quickly had. So Emmanuel Quickly probably had 1 field goal, right? And so and that's what this here is recording. It's actually number of field goals. How many more field goals did you have than your opponent? And so going off that, obviously 12 field goals more than his opponent and 30% more efficient. That's huge. Emmanuel Quickly had one more field goal than his opponent, but 17% less efficient. So he, it's I either he slightly lost the matchup offensively. Well, he lost the matchup slightly because it was 17%. So I think he slightly lost the matchup here, and, because if you basically discount if you discount the total number of field goals that he had by 17%, I'm pretty sure the opponent would have essentially had more field goals than he did, right? And he shot pretty well. Emmanuel Quickly shot about, I think he was like 7 of, what was Emmanuel Quickly this game? He was actually, I'm sorry, Quickly was 9 of 18, 50% from the field. And so it was just basically, he just didn't play very good defense this game. But anyway, let's not get too stuck on this up here. Let's just keep going down. So here, Obi Toppin had 2 more field goals, was about 2% less efficient, but he still wins the matchup, right? Slightly wins the matchup, but he wins the matchup. Same thing here. He was 10% less efficient, but 2 more field goals. So I think so this was the Cleveland game. And so let's see. So Obi Toppin scored 20 points in the Cleveland game. So he had essentially 7, what was it, 5 he made 5 field goals, so he was 5 of 10, 50%. But either way, is like this matchup was probably, I think, was even. So he didn't have, but basically even to either he won the matchup here. He had the same amount of field goal as the opposition. He was 2 of 3, 66%, but he only played 12 minutes this game. That's the only problem. He didn't play a lot of minutes. He was 2 of 3 because Julius Randle played this game. But, he won the matchup because he didn't get more field goal than his opponent. However, he was more efficient than your opponent, so he edges out his opponent. So it's more about being able to win your matchups, right? And so that's what we're looking for. Emmanuel Quickly here, he lost the matchup. Obi Toppin won the matchup. And so it's just something Emmanuel Quickly would have to work on. I think he would have to work on efficiency. But that's not the only reason we need Emmanuel Quickly, right? It's not just about just offensive output in terms of taking up shots and making them, right? There's other aspects to Emmanuel Quickly's game, and that's organizing the offense and basically making plays for his teammates. But the whole point is we want to look at efficiency, and he does need to improve on the efficiency, Emmanuel Quickly himself. But Obi Toppin, he's just solid. He constantly wins his matchups. You would actually have to go back to here. Emmanuel Quickly did win his matchup. He won his matchup here too. But for Obi Toppin, he always wins his matchups, or he always ties. But most of the time, he wins his matchups, and most of the time, he shoots above 50% from the field. And so that's a really big deal for the team, and it's something the team needs to be able to capitalize on. Because as a matter of fact, you would have to go back to the last Wizard game to find the last time to see the last time Obi Toppin didn't have a very good game, which was March 18th. That was like 3 weeks ago. So just think about that, right? So every 3 weeks, right? Every 3 weeks, this guy, doesn't have a great shooting game, has a bad game. But think about Julius Randle, right? And think about R.J. Barrett. Julius Randle, I think, I'm not sure how many games he played, but the last time I checked, he played I checked when he played something like 69 games. This was a couple of weeks ago. He played 69 games, but shot above 44% only, about 22 times. That's not very good. So he basically shoots barely league average. He shoots league average, what is that? Maybe once every 3.5 to 4 games. He shoots league average a little over once every three games. That's not very good, And the league average is not even 44%. I think league average is close to 45%. So I'm just trying to give 44% just a benefit of a doubt, right? If you can get us to 44, if you can get to 44%, we definitely would win more games. But he's shooting 41%, and so it just kind of goes to show you. So he shoot once every 3 games, he gets close to league average. He gets to 44%. But Obi Toppin, it's like the reverse, right? It's like he has like one bad shooting game. He's had one bad shooting game, like, you know, how many games is this? Like maybe 9. I want to say maybe like somewhere like 7 to 10 games. I mean, so that's what you want to look at. That's what we need. That's what the New York Knicks need. That's and they need one more person who's like this. I'm kind of hoping that Obi Toppin, right, playing him more and more. RJ Barrett seeing this, right, and seeing how this guy's getting buckets and the impact he's having on the team. I really hope it kind of pushes RJ Barrett to improve his efficiency, right? Because and also to make better decisions. Obi Toppin always makes very good decisions on the ball, on the court. He makes very quick decisions and very good decisions. And so RJ Barrett, I think, seeing this, hopefully playing more with Obi Toppin, I think should help. This is one of the reasons why I always felt like Julius Randle was sort of a bad influence on the team a little bit, because this is what RJ Barrett is seeing, right? Although it's not good, this is what RJ Barrett is seeing, and this is the standard that they've set, right? And that's because the coach doesn't. It doesn't seem like the coach never criticizes Randall publicly about it, and we don't know if he criticizes him privately about his decision making and also poor shooting and stuff like that. But this is the standard that they've set because Julius Randle is the top gun on his team, and because he was the top gun on his team and the coach is allowing him to play a certain way, RJ Barrett is going to think it's okay to play that way as well. RJ Barrett is going to think it's okay to basically dribble into double teams or into triple teams in the paint and turn over the ball, and also to make bad decisions. RJ Barrett is no coincidence. Julius Randle averages three turnovers a game. RJ Barrett averages about three turnovers a game as well. Julius Randle shoots 41% from the field. RJ Barrett is shooting about 41% from the field, right? And so because these two guys were the primary playmakers, Julius Randle was the top gun. RJ Barrett was supposed to be the heir apparent. And so, of course, he sees the standard that they set, and that's what they're going with. The other thing to keep in mind, too, is like to show you that the standard on his team has decreased, and it's pretty crappy. When they asked Emmanuel quickly yesterday what he thought about the season, especially when they asked him about his performance, how he's played this season, I was actually kind of shocked. Like Emmanuel quickly said he had a good season. So give me one moment. I need to pull up Emmanuel quickly's statistics from basketballreference.com so we can see like is he really having a good season, right? And let's take it over here. So here we got Emmanuel quickly, right? Emmanuel quickly this year is shooting 39% from the field, 34.5% from 3. I mean, that's just terrible. Effective field goal percentage is 48.5%. The league average is about 53, maybe 54%, somewhere in that range. His PER is below league average. League average is 15. His win shares is 4. As insane as it is, his win shares is even higher than Obi Toppin's, I think. Let me double check. Let's see what Obi Toppin's win share is. I think it was, let's see, 3.6, and so he's slightly higher. But the reason why Emmanuel Quickly's win shares is higher because he gets more minutes than Obi Toppin. So he's had more time, more chances on impacting the game. If you look at the minutes, I think probably in terms of minutes for the season, Emmanuel Quickly has probably more than doubled Obi Toppin's minutes for the season, and so that's the reason why the win shares are going to be higher. The thing that's really bad is basically Julius Randle. His win shares is about, I think, 3.4, 3.1, somewhere in that range. And Julius Randle has gotten 2 times the minutes than Emmanuel Quickly has gotten. Julius Randle has gotten 3 times the minutes this season that Obi has gotten. And so for these guys to have higher win shares than uh, Julius Randle, that's not a good look. But I guess let's stay on Emmanuel quickly. Actually, I got a little sidetracked with that. Emmanuel quickly, I just wanted to say he improved quite a bit as the season went along, but Emmanuel quickly did not have a great season, but he thinks he had a good season, and so it just kind of makes you think about the standards that these guys are setting, right? And the standards are not very good, and that's because, and this is an issue. This is an issue with the coach, because if you think about offensive performance, actually, I guess you shouldn't be surprised. The coach's offense hasn't been very good. It has been very creative. It's actually pretty bad, and Emmanuel Quickly's offense was pretty bad this year, only up until recently, right? And let's be honest. After what is he since the All Star? I guess he's shooting somewhere like 43-44% since the All Star break. I mean, it's not all that, right? It's not like it's not like he's not wild. It's not like it's definitely a huge improvement. People are basically encouraged and wowed by it because he was shooting like 38% from the field, prior to the All Star break. But now look, he's gone up by his field goals 39%. So I mean, think about it. We got to keep that in mind. He shot 39% from the field. That's horrendously inefficient. His effective field goal is like way below league average, right? And so, but the issue, I'm not trying to get on him. The issue is about the standards that's being set on the team. They asked him, "Did you have a good season?" And he felt that he had a good season. I mean, it's like it's my dad used to always say, "You should never lie." When you're lying, you're only lying to yourself, right? Because people can find out the truth, right? If you tell somebody a lie, they can find out the truth because at that point, you're only just really lying to yourself. And so, not trying to be harsh. He's played much better lately, but it's more about the comments he made as far as his performance for the season and the team's performance for the season. Obviously, and the thing that's really interesting, he had basically a rosier picture. He painted a rosier picture of his performance than the team's, and so, and actually, he probably should have, but maybe he should have. I don't know because I don't know. I think he kind of his trajectory. I mean, like his performance kind of tracked with the team's performance. He had a terrible first half of the year prior to the All Star break. Then after the All Star break, he improved a little bit. The team improved a little bit after the All Star break because they started playing the young guys a little more, right? So they started running the offense through R.J. Barrett a little more. So you did see some improvement, and I think they're a little closer to 500 after the All Star break. I think they're still under 500 after All Star break, but it's not as bad as it was prior to the All Star break. And so, but however, it's just the team didn't play well, and I don't think overall he had a good season. He made improvements towards the end, but it wasn't a good season by Emmanuel Quickly. And so, like I said, it's more. There's an issue with expectations and standards being set on this team, especially on the offensive end. The standards are just way too low, and they need to pick it up. Everyone cannot. Let me honestly, if the New York Knicks come back, and R.J. Barrett is shooting 41% next year, Emmanuel Quickly is shooting like 40% next year. Let's say he improved it a little bit, and he's shooting 40% next year. Alec Berg is shooting 38-39% next year, like he did this year. If that's what that happens next year, the Knicks are gonna suck, because if those guys come back, they're the ones that are gonna have the ball in your hands again. And if Julius Randle comes back and he's shooting 41%, so this team is actually like, hopefully there should not be any expectations for this team to be better next year. If they bring back obviously the same guys are coming back, and if the balls are going to be in their hands again, and they're shooting poorly again, that we're going to get the same results. You're not going to win a lot of ball games shooting 40% from the field. Like I said, the guys that take the most shots on this team, they're shooting the worst on the team, and that's Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, Alec Berg, Evan Fournier improved a little bit, but he's shooting low 40s still. So if those guys, those top four, they come back and they're still shooting like 41%, and in Alec Berg's case, like 38, 39%, and quickly like 38, 39%, they're, the New York Knicks are not going to be very good next year. So that's why, efficiency is extremely important in basketball, and it's going to be what you need to watch going forward for this team. And like I said, don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's about, if RJ Barrett is not going to improve his efficiency next year, then they need to get the ball to Obi Toppin more, right? Right? They need to get the ball, find a way to get Mitch involved a little more, right? So that's the things that you have to do. You have to look at the guys that are more efficient on your team and find a way to get them get the ball to them a little more in the position to score to help the team out. That's just what the team has to do for next year going forward, and that's the only way they're going to be able to win some ball games. But hopefully, if it's different and RJ Barrett improves his efficiency, and let's say he's scoring, let's say 21, 22 points next season on like 44% shooting, then you're going to see the Knicks are going to win more ball games, right? They're going to win more ball games if that happens. And so, but that's pretty much what I have, guys. You guys please like, subscribe, also comment below. I'll be more than happy to respond. Let me know what you guys think about what I talked about Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin, and also about the team's efficiency. You guys just tell me what you think is a way forward for this team. How do they improve that? Aside from, obviously it could be either team members improving. Who do you think improves their efficiency, right? Or how can we get like Obi Toppin or Mitchell Robinson more involved next year? In order to improve the team's efficiency as a whole. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. I'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you.